Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling something that I think a lot of us can relate to, and that's loneliness.
Oh, yeah, loneliness. It's something we all experience at some point, right?
For sure. But the thing is, we're kind of taught that feeling lonely means there's something wrong with us.
Right, like it's a sign that we're broken or something.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to challenge today.
Love it.
We're diving into a really interesting text called Feeling Lonely, You're Not Broken. Here's proof.
Okay, interesting title.
Right. It really grabbed my attention. And you know what? The text actually emphasizes that feeling lonely is a totally normal human experience.
It makes sense when you think about it. We're social creatures. We're wired for connection.
Exactly. And so when we don't have those connections, it's natural to feel lonely.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that we're constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need to be surrounded by people all the time.
Oh, totally. Like having a packed social calendar is somehow proof that we're happy and fulfilled.
Right, but this text actually says, and this part really resonated with me, it says, "You are not broken. You are human."
I love that.
Yeah.
It's such a simple statement, but it's so powerful.
It is, because it reminds us that loneliness is not a personal failing. It's just part of the human experience.
And speaking of human experiences, something else the text points out is that it's not just about being around people. It's about having meaningful connections.
Oh, absolutely. You could be in a room full of people and still feel completely alone.
Right. Like imagine being at a party surrounded by people you know, but you're not really connecting with anyone.
Exactly. You're just kind of going through the motions, making small talk, but you don't feel truly seen or heard.
And that can be even lonelier than being physically alone sometimes.
It can, because it makes you question your ability to connect with others on a deeper level.
You know, it makes me think about those times when you're out and you overhear a conversation and it just totally resonates with you.
Yeah, like you feel an instant connection with those people, even though you don't know them.
Exactly. It's like you're on the same wavelength, you share the same values or experiences.
And that's what meaningful connection is all about. Finding people who get you, who you can be yourself around.
And sometimes those connections take time to build. They don't always happen overnight.
They don't. And I think that's something we need to remember in our fast-paced, instant gratification culture.
So true. We're always looking for the quick fix, the instant solution, but real connections take time and effort.
They do. And they also take a willingness to be vulnerable, to put yourself out there, even if it feels scary.
Speaking of scary, the text also challenges this idea that we should always be on,
What do you mean by on?
like always socializing, always filling our calendars with events and activities.
Ah, I see. You mean like the whole hustle culture mentality.
Exactly. There's this pressure to always be busy, to always be productive. But the text actually argues that alone time is incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. It's during those quiet moments that we can really connect with ourselves, reflect on our experiences, and recharge.
There's a line in the text that I just love. It says, some of the most successful, fulfilled people cherish their alone time.
That's so true. Think about all the great artists, writers, and thinkers throughout history.
Right. They all spend a significant amount of time alone, immersed in their thoughts and ideas.
And that's where their creativity flourished.
So basically, what we're learning here is that alone time isn't something to be feared or avoided. It's actually essential for our well-being.
Absolutely. It allows us to recharge, reconnect with ourselves, and come back to our relationships feeling refreshed and energized.
And speaking of connection, the text also mentions this really cool community called LPot. Have you heard of them?
I have. It's a really supportive online community for people struggling with loneliness and mental health.
Yeah, it sounds like they have a bunch of resources, like a YouTube channel and a Discord server.
They do. And it's all about creating a safe space for people to connect and share their experiences.
Which makes total sense, right? Because feeling lonely doesn't mean you have to suffer in silence. There are people out there who understand what you're going through.
Exactly. And communities like LPot are specifically designed to connect those people and provide support.
So I guess the big takeaway here is that loneliness is a normal part of the human experience. It's not a sign that we're broken or flawed. It's just a signal that we need to prioritize those meaningful connections.
And those connections can come from a variety of sources, deepening our existing relationships, exploring new communities, or even just being more present in our interactions with others.
Totally. And remember, alone time is important too. It's not about isolating ourselves. It's about finding that balance between connection and solitude.
Exactly. So maybe something to think about is, What steps can you take today to cultivate those meaningful connections?
I love that. It's something we can all work on every single day.
Absolutely.
Well, that was a really thought-provoking deep dive. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Me too. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, you're not alone.
We're all in this together.